Hi Moonbeams, it's Nikki T here from Moonchild Tarot. Welcome back. You'll have to see I've got a little nice new setup, but in true Nikki fashion, I've already got incense all over it. Now, today's video is going to be a little haul for you. I went a little bit overboard having not got a tarot deck in a good 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, and then I just suddenly went on the deck buying train. So I've got 4 decks to show you today. So without further ado, let's get started. This month has been a bit of a very weird month. It's been very busy, lots of things with the kids. I've had a bit of, I feel like I'm getting to the point of a little bit, not tarot burnout, but tarot tube burnout, in the way that I've been watching a lot of you guys because you're amazing and I love watching your videos. But there's so many videos to kind of watch and comment, and I want to kind of share the love, that it's got me feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And I think in that little bit of overwhelm, I then kind of go a little bit gung-ho with the spending. So the first deck that I've got to show you is the Pocket Wild Unknown. Now, everybody's seen this. It's a staple of tarot tube. Everybody loves it. I was wanting to get this deck, and then I thought, well, why not get the pocket, because then I can put it in my bag, I can take it away with me when I go on holiday, and I can just use it for on the go. And it's already kind of jumped straight into my collection. So it's in this lovely tin, as you can see. I have used this already, so it's out of order. I realised as I was smoke cleansing my cards, I was cleansing them with incense. I realised that I then put them in a mixed up order, and I was meant to record this video, but I'd already put them back in order, because this is a used deck, so this is a used copy, but it was practically new. I got it for a bargain on Vinted. I wasn't too fussed because I didn't pay a lot for it, so I wasn't too fussed if it didn't work out. I just love it. I just think it is such a genius deck, and it's already wanted me to use it. I've already done a reading with it, and it was like right off the bat, it's so perceptive, and I've seen things that I haven't seen in my other tarot decks through this. So I think it is a really, really good deck. I've seen a friend read with this as well, and I loved her readings. It really, I don't know, it's just, there's something about it at the moment. I feel like this is the deck I need at the moment. It told me exactly what question it wanted to talk about, and it's really pushed me to have a bit of a conversation with myself about a relationship, a friendship that broke down. Not a relationship, if you know what I mean, but a friendship that broke down, where I kind of felt a little bit blindsided, and it's really helped me dig deep into that and kind of think about how can I learn from that in the future, and how can I learn from that experience. And it's really, I just love that Three of Swords card, just being tied up in it, being tied up in the heartbreak. Yeah, it's giving those kind of vibes. So yeah, I love it. It's so good. I'm gonna take it with me in my handbag. I'm gonna hopefully try and use this out and about when I go for my walks. I might kind of pick a card or so to kind of connect in there, and I won't be worried because it's secondhand. It was very cheap. I'm not going to be worried about damaging it. I can always get a new one, that type of thing. So I'm not as I won't be as worried about kind of putting this in my bag and it getting battered and things like that. So yeah, that's the Wild Unknown Pocket edition. The second deck I've been looking at for a while is the Zombie Tarot. So again, I bought this second hand used. I bought this used. I love getting myself a bargain, so getting a used copy. I had to be very careful to make sure it was in, you know, the box, because if the fakes are all rife on these selling sites. But I've been looking at this for quite a while, and you know, it's got the guidebook there. Pretty. I've not really delved into the guidebook yet. I've not used it. I've just kind of cleansed it, ready to shuffle. This is an order because I put it all back in order. It is a bit beaten up, so you can see it's a bit rough around the edges, a bit zombified, you could say, but I'm sure I can I was thinking about edging this in like a dark green, kind of like maybe swampy kind of colour, you know, the kind of green olivey colour that might match very well. I've seen so many people feature this on their channel and saying that this is a very straight shooter. It's there when you need to kind of ask the deep questions. And I love a deck that's blunt. I love having blunt decks in my collection because I need a straight answer. I don't sometimes want to spend hours and hours trying to mull over it, think about it, kind of dig deep. I want the answers and I want it now. You know, I want it all and I want it now, in the famous words of Freddie Mercury. I don't like dilly-dallying around, so I want my kind of answers straight up. I love this devil card, and I remember in my late teens, you know, purchasing from one of these machines. Yeah, but I don't anymore. I don't smoke, but yeah, I'm really, really excited to give this a go. Again, this was, as I said before, this was used. I got a reasonable good deal on it. I was pleased. I thought that it would be in better condition, but I think, you know, nothing but a little bit of edging maybe, because it's coming up a little bit in places, a little bit of edging, and maybe you know, some work to help it kind of look its best will do. But because of that, the card quality is very shuffleable, so you know, somebody's worn it in and used it. So yeah, so this is the Zombie Tarot, and I am so excited to use this. I've already kind of thought about maybe using this, like exploring the kind of darker feminine aspect and things like that, because that's what was calling to me when I was spending some time with this deck. But we will see what this has in store for me. I'm going to save the big purchase till last. So the next one again is another mass market one, and it's the Tarot of Sweet Twilight. Now, this has been on my list for a long time. I kind of and ahed about this. It was on my wish list, but I found out that it was going out of print. So it was being they were stopping making it. Whether they're going to redesign this or relaunch it, I don't know, but I didn't want to take that risk with it, because I found a copy of this for half the price that a new copy would be, and the only damage on it is the box. So this came, it was fully sealed. I've took it out of the packaging. It was fully sealed. It's a fully brand new deck. The only issue is it's got that damage to the tuck box, and I'm not bothered about the tuck box. As I said, I got this for half what it would have been at retail. So I was really pleased with that. And I do like that this has got like a child like quality to it. Have I left the, I don't know whether I've left the foil in the box. I think I might, yes, I might have done. I've left the foil in the box for some reason. So this has got this very kind of almost innocent, kind of childlike nature to it, but it's got that moodiness to it, that it's not bright, colourful, you know, like the kawaii tarot where it's just cutesy. It's got that little bit of, it's got childlikeness, but it's got that little bit of edge to it. It's got that little bit of, you know, it's a different world. It just exists in its own different kind of weird and wacky world, and I really like it. And I'm excited to get to know this. You know, the card stock I think is going to be really good for me to be able to riffle shuffle with. I always love a deck that I can riffle shuffle. I struggle doing not so much the riffle but the bridge. I struggle doing that. And most decks I can't riffle and do the bridge with just because my hands are not strong enough. With these, with Low Scarabeo, the tuck box, usually the Low Scarabeo decks, I can do the ones with the slightly thinner cardstock. Yeah, it's just lovely, and I'm so excited to be getting to use this. I'm not sure how I'm going to be using it. Or when it's going to kind of come in, maybe a little bit later, maybe kind of August, September time, it might kind of come out, because it's got, I feel like it's got a bit of a, you know, it could be spring, it could be autumn. It's got that, it's not a summer deck and it's not a winter deck, if you get what I mean. It's got that kind of in between, kind of liminal kind of quality where it can be, I mean, it could be used all year round, and any tarot deck can be used all year round, but I do like to be a bit seasonal with my decks and the way I feel and things like that. Having said that, the next one, I'm feeling very cold to use it, even though I wouldn't necessarily use it in the height of kind of as summer's coming in. But yeah, I love this. You know, I mean, for, what was it? It was £10 including the postage. It was an absolute bargain, and I'm glad that I have it, and I'm glad that I've got this one. If they re-release it, well, I've got this one. I won't need another one. And yeah, so this is the Tarot of Sweet Twilight, and that's by Low Scarabeo. And for this one, I've already got the wool that I can make a bag for this, so that's an extra bonus, because I've got a blue wool, and I've got a pink. It's not quite this kind of magenta pink, but it's kind of a Barbie pink, but I think that blue and pink vibe will go together. We'll see. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it will be used for another deck. But I like it, and I like the pop of green there as well. So yeah, I will be making a bag for that one. Now the last one, the pièce de résistance, I'm going to put it in the bag. This was a big step for me. As you all kind of know on my channel, I am a big mass market girly, just because I don't have the funds to go out and buy a lot of indie decks and kind of, you know, splurge the cash and things like that. But I'd been seeing this deck a lot. I've been seeing it around a lot, and I was still, usually I can put it on a wish list and I can forget about it and forget the hype and things like that. With this, it felt like I did really not need it, because you don't need anything, but I felt the real draw to it. So I thought, I've got the ability to get this. Why don't I get it now? And it was actually confirmed when I went to look on, because I got this from Oneness Emporium from Cheryl. When I went to buy it, it was listed as out of stock, and I panicked, and I emailed Cheryl saying, oh, are you going to get any more copies in? You know, of this, like, and she said, well, funnily enough, we've just got some new copies in and we've updated the shop. So I ran like I was running away from a zombie. I ran like the clappers to go and purchase it, and I'm so glad I did. So this is, some people might know what it is already because they've probably heard me talking about it or drooling about it on other people's channels. But this deck I bought is the Shadows We Cast, and I think a lot of people have talked about this as a shadow deck. And I think there was somebody else who mentioned that they don't necessarily think of this as a shadow deck. It's more comforting and more healing than that, and I've got to tend to agree with that. I feel like, yes, it does lean into the shadow, or it can lead into the shadow aspect, and it can look into them dark, but I think it's more of a nurturing, kind of supportive deck. The way I feel about it, I don't know. This gives me vibes of Hecate, because I have connected with Hecate for quite a while now, and her, even though she is a darker kind of, she's in the shadow, she likes the shadow work, everything, the relationship I have with her is very, very supportive, very, very nurturing, almost, I wouldn't say motherly, but very kind of that kind, supportive, nurturing that I needed when, a couple of years ago when I was at my lowest, when I needed her, she came in when I needed her, and she helped me move through that shadow. She's helped me through so much. So I don't know whether I probably will use this deck when speaking to her and doing work with her, but I think I will use it for other things as well. So it's in this absolutely fantastic box there. The truth you seek was always there, hiding in your shadow, waiting to be remembered. May these cards be your guide into remembrance. And I feel like, yeah, it gently holds your hand. I've got to say that, new deck smell, I took this out the packaging, and the first thing I did was kind of just breathe in the kind of smell of the ink. I know that may sound weird, but the smell of the ink and everything, the quality of the cards is just absolutely fantastic. I've got other indie decks, so I have got the Raven's Dream, and I've got like the Somnia, and I've got the Night Vision. So I've got a couple of indie decks, and I've got to say I really love this cardstock. It's slippy without being too slippy. It's substantial. And that, this gilding is absolutely, I like where it's not gilding. The spraying is absolutely amazing. So yeah, I just love this. And yeah, it's got shadowy aspects, but I see it as kind of a hopeful, comforting, warm kind of deck. And it's actually already cut, like the Wild Unknown. This deck is like, I want you to use me. I want you to kind of use me in the next week or so. So I might be spending some time with it. And as again, there are brighter cards. There are more vibrant cards that I love. This Strength card, it gives me vibes of Stranger Things. If anybody's seen the last series of Stranger Things, it gives me that vibe. You know what I mean? If you know, but it kind of gives me that of the strength and stuff, and do we pass through it and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's maybe one of the reasons why it's called, and it is very dark. Well, not dark, but it's got that darkness, that shadow to it that I tend to like. I love this wheel, like turning yourself in, spiraling. I see this as a spirals. Sometimes with the Wheel of Fun, we can get so caught up with luck and fate, and is my luck coming in, and and we're like a hamster on a treadmill. Sorry, not getting my words right today. I think I very much need to embrace the inner empress and do a bit of self-care on myself. Yeah, it is lovely. And that death card, absolute chef's kiss. I love crows and ravens. They're my favorite bird. I just love that. Oh, it sends shivers up my spine. It's just breathtaking. I'm so glad I got this. I will hopefully be using this a lot in the coming months and kind of working through it, working through things with it. See, there are brighter cards here. You know, I love the blues and the blues and the greens and the purples. I love this Five of Pentacles. Like, you know, there is shelter in the woods. You know, I always say with the Five of Pentacles, the church door is open. There is help. There is support. There is shelter there. You've just got to find it. A Six of Pentacles. Yeah, it's just lovely, lovely, lovely. She's just such a good artist, and with, you know, the way that things are at the moment, it's so hard to tell with decks what is and what isn't. I really do appreciate, you know, like people spending the time like on their decks and pouring all that love and pouring all that energy into it. Yeah, so I love it. Even, you know, even the swords cards, they're still, you know, it makes you think, it makes you contemplate. Yeah, like the Nine of Swords there, like, yeah, worry, anxiety, but there is hope, there's that light there. And this, you know, usually the Ten of Swords can be so graphic and it can be so off-putting, but this is like, you know, this defeat that you've had, it's blocking you from moving on, and you've got to pick yourself up, you know, move through it and get yourself to where you want to be, you know. So I love that interpretation of that card. It is such a wonderful deck, and I've got a feeling that this is going to be like a firm favorite in my collection. I don't know whether I love this dragon. It gives me like How to Train Your Dragon vibes. Like, it's almost like it's Toothless, a bit of a scarier version of Toothless, but yeah, I love that. I love that they've got dragons in the wands, you know, like feels like what's her name from Game of Thrones, the Mother of Dragons. I don't know, because I don't watch Game of Thrones, but, you know, that gives me that vibe that you know, she's got. I think she had to make, and especially like, you know, the Queen of Wands, she's very enigmatic, a very strong character, and things like that. Yeah, it gives me those type of vibes. And then we've got our cups. Oh, I love that blue and purple. I love blue and purple mixed together. This is, if I could make this, you know, card, if I could make a cardigan with wool that was like that, I would absolutely pay a fortune to get wool that was like that. Yeah, going into crochet talk now. But I just love the marbling effect. It's beautiful. Yeah, I'm absolutely blown away. I can't wait to spend some time with it and, you know, get to know it. Maybe it'll be in next month's decks I'll be using. Who knows? We don't know, but I'm so pleased. I think there's not a lot of indie decks that really grab me because of the price, and because of, you know, a lot of these indie decks are harder to get, you know, for shipping, things like that. Not that, you know, we're complaining or anything like that. They are harder to get when you have to factor in that you're paying X amount, and then you're paying nearly half of that on top, you know, it for me, it kind of comes as a deal breaker, because I don't have that disposable income to kind of come through. But also, I've got very particular taste, so not everything that's kind of shown on TarotTube kind of floats my boat, or, as we say, tickle my pickle. There. So, but this was something where I immediately saw it and I thought, wow, and I couldn't stop thinking of it. Usually I'd say, oh, that's a nice deck. Oh, that's really good. Look it up. And it'll put me off, you know, having to kind of go through the you know, to get the funds to get it, and things like that. It usually puts me off buying an indie deck, just because of the kind of extra investment of it, if you get what I mean. And I am very choosy about my decks. I'm going to be slowing down now and not getting as many. There are a couple that I do want that are on the list, but I'm not worried if I don't get them. I'm not going to scramble about to kind of make sure I get them or whatever. I don't know whether this is making sense. I'm feeling a little bit drained today. I'm gonna be honest. I am feeling a little bit drained. Maybe I need my trusty rose quartz here to kind of help me. I might take a bit of a break throughout the week from watching and commenting and things like that. Or kind of responding to my channel, because I think I might have burnt myself out. I'm going to be honest here. There's so many amazing tarot content creators, and I've been trying to watch. I've had a watch list that was about 30 videos long, and I've been trying to watch and comment and support. And I think I've got so kind of enthralled in doing that I've neglected my own things that bring me joy. I like watching theme park videos, for example. I like watching things about roller coasters, and I've not watched any videos like that. I've not done any. I do want to learn the Tarot de Marseille, so that's another thing that I might start looking at, is learning Tarot de Marseille and how to read with it. And I haven't kind of taken the jump to do it, because I feel like I've been in that whole community bubble of TarotTube, and kind of trying to do things and trying to get my video out, and you know, responding to everyone, because your videos are amazing. Like, you are all absolutely fantastic. You are all absolutely great. And I love watching every single one of you that I am subscribed to. But I think that maybe I need to bring a bit of balance in there, just being like honest honest conversation, a bit of an honest conversation, because I think you know, the comments, the likes, the subscriptions, it is all absolutely amazing, and I treasure every single person who subscribes, who watches my videos, who comments, who, you know, takes the time to comment, because I've been doing it and I know how absolutely hectic it can be when you've got 5 plates spinning to then be supporting other tarot tubers and things like that. So I completely get it. I completely understand it. And, you know, hats off to you. Hats off to the people that managed to find that balance. I think I've got to take a step back and work out what my balance is, work out, you know, where do I get my balance? How do I get my balance back? Maybe it's a question that I could ask the Shadows We Cast Tarot. Yeah, so anyway, I will, on that note, let you go. Thank you for being with me while I did this little haul. I will be back soon for another video. It will probably be a tag or two, maybe, and then I will finish my collection video of what I would rebuy, because I've been going through my collection, and I had my mass market tarot, which was my biggest video, there, and I will link it down below if you want to see all my mass market decks I've got. The next one is my oracle decks and my indie decks, so I will be talking about them, but I think I'm gonna wait for a bit until I do that video. I need a bit of R&R, rest and recuperation, for myself. Anyway, I will let you go, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Whatever you're doing, take care, my beautiful moonbeams.